Alright, picture this. Rome, over 2,000 years ago. Imagine the hustle and bustle of a sprawling city, the heart of a vast empire. We're talking about a time of incredible innovation, groundbreaking engineering, and of course, intense political drama. Think grand temples, bustling marketplaces, and the echoes of powerful orators filling the air. This is the backdrop for our story, a story of ambition, power, and ultimately betrayal. A kid named Julius Caesar is born into a pretty important family, a patrician family, which means they had some status and influence. They weren't exactly scraping by, but they weren't quite at the pinnacle of Roman society either. They had a name, a history, but not necessarily the overflowing coffers or the absolute highest connections, but not exactly the top of the food chain. They were in that awkward middle ground, close enough to the top to see the view, but far enough away to feel the constant pressure to climb higher. This position, this constant striving, would shape Caesar's ambition and drive him to achieve greatness, or perhaps infamy. He grows up watching Rome torn apart by chaos, political instability, social unrest, and constant power struggles. It wasn't a peaceful, idyllic time. Factions clashed, riots erupted, and the very foundations of the Republic seemed to be cracking under the strain. Politicians squabbling, each vying for control, making promises they couldn't keep, and often resorting to underhanded tactics to get ahead. The Senate, once a symbol of Roman wisdom and governance, was now often paralyzed by infighting and corruption. Armies running wild, loyal to their generals rather than to the Republic itself. These legions became powerful tools in the hands of ambitious men, used to intimidate rivals and seize power by force. The constant threat of military intervention hung heavy over Roman politics, and everyone trying to grab power. It was a cutthroat environment where alliances shifted like the sands of the desert, and betrayal was always just around the corner. In this turbulent world, young Caesar learned a valuable lesson. Power was the only thing that truly mattered. Early on, Caesar realizes he's got to play the game better than anyone. He understands that to survive, and more importantly to thrive, he needs to be smarter, more cunning, and more ruthless than his rivals. He begins to carefully observe the players around him, learning their weaknesses and exploiting their vulnerabilities. He becomes a priest, a strategic move that gives him early influence and connections within Roman society. It's a position of respect and authority, allowing him to network with powerful families and gain insights into the inner workings of Roman politics. Then a soldier, honing his leadership skills and building a loyal following among the troops. He understands that military might is essential for achieving his ambitions, and he dedicates himself to becoming a skilled commander and a charismatic leader. Then, thanks to some clever moves and a lot of charm, a top politician. He's a master of rhetoric, able to sway crowds with his powerful speeches and win over even his most ardent opponents. He understands the importance of public image and cultivates a persona of strength, intelligence, and unwavering determination. But Rome's not big enough for all the egos, especially when those egos are fueled by ambition and a thirst for power. The political landscape is a minefield of rivalries and betrayals, where alliances are constantly tested and friendships can turn into bitter enmities in an instant. So he forms a dream team with Pompey, a brilliant military commander and a popular figure in Rome. Pompey has the military clout and the public support that Caesar needs to advance his own ambitions. And Crassus, the wealthiest man in Rome, whose vast fortune can finance their political schemes and buy influence where it's needed. Crassus brings the financial muscle to the alliance, ensuring that they have the resources to compete with their rivals. This is the First Triumvirate, fancy word for Gang of Three. A secret alliance formed to circumvent the Senate and control Roman politics. Each member brings unique strengths to the table, creating a formidable force that can reshape the destiny of Rome. Things get wild. The Triumvirate faces challenges from their political enemies, internal conflicts within the alliance, and the ever-present threat of betrayal. The stakes are high, and the consequences of failure could be catastrophic. Caesar heads off to Gaul, modern France, seeking military glory and a chance to build his own power base. Gaul is a vast and untamed territory, inhabited by fierce Celtic tribes who resist Roman rule, and absolutely crushes it. He leads his legions to victory after victory, conquering new territories and expanding Roman influence. His military prowess becomes legendary, and his name is whispered in awe and fear throughout the Roman world. He doesn't just win battles, he wins the hearts and minds of his soldiers, inspiring them to fight with unwavering loyalty and courage. He shares their hardships, celebrates their victories, and earns their respect through his bravery and leadership. He writes bestsellers about his own exploits. The Gallic Wars becomes a propaganda masterpiece, showcasing his military genius and portraying him as a hero of the Roman people. He carefully crafts his public image, ensuring that he is seen as a strong and capable leader. Back in Rome though, his rivals get nervous. They see his growing power and popularity as a threat to their own positions, and they begin to plot against him. They fear that he will use his military might to overthrow the Republic and establish himself as a dictator. The Senate tells him, "Come home." They order him to return to Rome and face accusations of treason. They hope to strip him of his power and exile him from the city, but leave your army at the border. They demand that he disband his legions before entering Italy, fearing that he will use them to seize control of the government. Caesar? He says nope. He refuses to obey the Senate's orders, recognizing that it's a trap designed to destroy him. He knows that if he enters Rome without his army, he will be at the mercy of his enemies, and crosses the Rubicon River with his army. This is a momentous decision, a point of no return. By crossing the Rubicon, Caesar is defying the Senate and challenging the authority of the Roman Republic. That's basically declaring war on Rome itself. It's a gamble, a desperate move that could lead to his ultimate triumph, or his complete destruction. The fate of Rome hangs in the balance. Civil war erupts. The Roman world is plunged into chaos as Caesar's legions clash with the forces loyal to the Senate. Brother fights against brother, and the streets of Rome run red with blood. Caesar chases Pompey all over the Mediterranean, engaging in a series of naval battles and land campaigns. The two great generals are locked in a deadly struggle for control of the Roman world, finally beating him in Egypt, where Pompey had sought refuge after his defeat in Greece. Caesar's victory in Egypt marks a turning point in the civil war, solidifying his position as the dominant force in the Roman world, where, just to keep things interesting, the political climate is as thick as the desert air, filled with intrigue, power plays, and hidden agendas. Egypt is a land of ancient wonders and untold riches, but it's also a dangerous place where alliances can shift in an instant. He starts a famous fling with Cleopatra. A strategic alliance and a passionate love affair that will forever be etched in the annals of history. Their relationship is a complex mix of political calculation and genuine affection, with far-reaching consequences for both Rome and Egypt. Eventually Caesar comes back to Rome, a triumphant hero returning from his conquests. He is greeted with adulation and celebration by the Roman people, who see him as a savior and a bringer of peace. And now he's basically the boss. He's appointed dictator for life, effectively becoming the supreme ruler of Rome. The Republic is crumbling, and Caesar is poised to reshape the Roman world in his own image. He makes big reforms aimed at improving the lives of ordinary Romans and strengthening the foundations of the state. He's determined to create a more just and equitable society, but his reforms also consolidate his own power and authority. Fixing the calendar, creating the Julian calendar, which is the basis for the calendar we use today. This reform brings order and stability to Roman timekeeping, and it's just one example of Caesar's practical and forward-thinking approach to governance, helping the poor, providing them with food, land, and opportunities to improve their lives. He understands that a stable society requires a strong and prosperous working class, and he implements policies to address poverty and inequality, shaking up the government. He restructures the Senate, appoints his loyal followers to key positions, and centralizes power in his own hands. These reforms are designed to make the government more efficient and responsive, but they also undermine the traditional checks and balances of the Republic. But absolute power makes people nervous. Many Romans fear that Caesar's ambition knows no bounds and that he will ultimately destroy the Republic and establish himself as a king. On the Ides of March 44 BC, a date that will forever be remembered in history, a conspiracy is set in motion that will change the course of the Roman world. A group of senators, some of his own friends, men who had once been his allies and confidants, plot to assassinate him. They believe that they are acting to save the Republic from tyranny, but their actions will have unforeseen and devastating consequences. Stab him to death. In a brutal and shocking act of violence, Caesar is murdered in the Senate, betrayed by those he trusted most. His death plunges Rome into chaos and sets the stage for another round of civil war. Caesar's gone, his life cut short in a violent and unexpected end. The world mourns the loss of a brilliant leader, a skilled general, and a charismatic figure who had left an indelible mark on history. But his legend? That's just getting started. His name will live on for centuries, inspiring both admiration and controversy. His legacy will shape the course of Western civilization and influence the development of law, politics, and culture. His adopted son Octavian, later known as Augustus, steps into the power vacuum. Skillfully maneuvering through the treacherous political landscape, he is determined to avenge Caesar's death and carry on his legacy, becomes the first emperor, ushering in a new era of Roman history. The Republic is dead, and the Roman Empire is born, with Augustus at its helm. And Rome changes forever. The Roman Empire will become one of the most powerful and influential empires in history, shaping the course of Western civilization for centuries to come. So yeah, Julius Caesar's life? A whirlwind of ambition, conquest, and political intrigue. His story is a testament to the power of human will, the allure of power, and the enduring consequences of our choices. Ambition, betrayal, and a legacy that shaped the world. His impact on history is undeniable, and his story continues to resonate with us today. Not bad for a kid from a not-so-top-tier Roman family. He rose through the ranks through sheer force of will, leaving an enduring mark on the world. His life serves as a reminder that even those who start with modest beginnings can achieve greatness, or at least, leave a lasting impact on the world stage.